we'll be talking about Antigravity and also VS Code. Google Antigravity is an AI first agentic IDE, and also is a direct fork of VS Code. So basically, they got their inspiration. It was this base, and the whole thing about it was largely from VS Code. That's why you see that it looks very similar to VS Code. Now, let's dive into the differences itself. With respect to Antigravity, they pride themselves in having to be agentic. The first AI platform that, not the first AI platform, basically a fork of VS Code, but then it has more capability than VS Code. While some argues that, oh, it's basically just another extension off of VS Code. Now, for VS Code itself, is an open source, while Antigravity is Google proprietary, which you can use, you can download. Now, let's compare the two platforms and let's see what they have to offer. Here, as you can see, the color scheme, they look pretty similar. And this is on the file, the search, the source control, the debug, and also the extension. It has similar flow: files, search, source control, debug, but then it have on Antigravity, you need to have Remote Explorer. Guess what? You can also install Remote Explorer here as an extension as well. Also, I can see the view of it is also similar to VS Code. The file and folder structure is also similar. The playground environment here is also similar as well. And then if you also want to see the chat agent, if you click on that, you get to see the chat agent. For this as well, for Antigravity, you get to see the chat section. Here, you get to see the chat section is centered in the middle of the agentic workspace, but here is at the bottom. And also here, you can actually specify different contexts, and you can specify different models. Here as well, you can specify different contexts. You can also specify what you want to do, the agent, ask, or plan. And then also you can specify different model. The only difference around here is that Antigravity has more context here, action that you can actually do. But for VS Code, it doesn't really have much of that. Basically just this. And then here, you can also ask, plan, or agent just doing this thing. But Antigravity does that out of the box. It plans, it asks, it does all of that out of the box. And then also here, you can also specify different configurational tools. At the top here, you can have this different customization flow here. So they're basically almost identical, but the only difference is that Antigravity has more of agentic built-in custom out of it, while for VS Code, you have to rely on IDE to install whatever you need. For example, this remote desktop, you can actually download different version of remote desktop of your choice, but here is built-in. And then also in Antigravity, you can have different mention with different MCP server, conversation, rules, terminal, all this beautiful stuff. Also, you can also have different goals schedule, where you want the Antigravity to run a certain code at a specific time. But guess what? This is more like a cron job. That doesn't happen here in VS Code. And some people also argue that they prefer using Antigravity because it has this baked-in agentic flow into it, as opposed to VS Code, where we have to cherry pick. You need to know what you're looking for, where you go to the extension section. For example, remote desktop and other features that you might need. You have to basically rely on you knowing the extension and then downloading the extension. But Google be like, don't worry, we got you guys covered. Everything is baked in, including a browser here. But for VS Code, you might also need to have a browser spin up. But VS Code has its own browser as well. Opening agent. If you click on opening agent, oh, looks like they also have their own kind of vibe of opening agent. So all of that is already baked in Antigravity already. So we're on the right hand side. This is the file size side, and it also relies on Copilot. And then also, as you can see, my cloud is not yet available, and all this chat section. So let me close this. Let me go back to this interface, and then also let's check out what people are saying on the internet regarding that. I search for Google anti-gravity versus VS Code, and they are quite interesting take where somebody said, I think anti-gravity is easy, what the hype. I love it so far. Key will be what Google does with pricing, which is true. What will Google actually do with pricing? Because with respect to VS Code, most of us relies on the co-pilots and the pricing that comes with co-pilots. So what will Google actually do differently? Would they be able to compete with Copilot's pricing? Would they be able to reduce the price so that they can get more developers using the product or not? And also, somebody said he's using VS Code for work, but using anti-gravity with an agent for LLM. That is pretty interesting take. And also, we have somebody showing their skills here, where they were like, okay, this is their agent, and guess what? In their agent, they have shared, they have agent, they have rules, they have skills, they have workflow, and they have different thing about the stuff that they are working on. Also, their workflow, they architect the MCP configuration.json, and also Amazon Q rules. You can actually see what this person is actually doing with anti-gravity. It also seems the person is also using codex as well. Interesting. And you can see the person also have a PRD listed as well. Okay, so somebody's also using bots. So far, I think I'll be using bots as well. Guess what? It's free. As long as it's free, most people are able to use it because VS Code is also free. Let's check out some other conversation as well. There's also conversation around that as well, where somebody says, no, a coder, you probably be using these tools outside the norm, but anti-gravity is vastly more productive for me. So now, if you want to decide which one to use, it's better for you to do your research. Also, I would suggest you download anti-gravity. Also download VS Code and see which one works best for you. For me, over the years, I've been using more of VS Code than anti-gravity. But now it seems I'll take a look at anti-gravity and actually use it even further. I'll try and expand the scope of what I've been able to use it. If I'm able to replicate everything I'm doing on VS Code on anti-gravity seamlessly, and if Google pricing makes sense, I'll actually go for anti-gravity. But in this case, most developers they might want to go for VS Code, but new folks are actually joining the train. They might be going for anti-gravity. So it seems anti-gravity is getting some traction also on the internet, and also there are a couple of blog posts regarding that as well that I found, which is this here, which the person is switching from VS Code to anti-gravity and is not going back. Interesting. So also I'll also be setting up my anti-gravity rules as well. So do your research before you switch, and make sure you try and set up your anti-gravity, put some guardrails involved, and then make sure you do not leak any company secrets, not link your own personal secrets while in your code base, and make sure you check out some of my videos that actually explain how to tap 90% into the anti-gravity functionality, what it can do, and then also make sure you secure your credentials. Don't mistakenly commit your code in a public repository. All right. Thank you. Bye.